Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 19th of December. My disclaimer, I did this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my tactical analysis with you. I hope you can take some what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Now, I just wanted to have a quick look at next week. Start off with, obviously, next week is Christmas week. It is a strongly bullish leaning week, and today is a strongly bullish leaning day. Today leans bullish by 62%. Monday leans bullish 67%. Tuesday leans bullish 67%. We've got a half day on Wednesday, which is Christmas Eve, and that leans bullish 57%. Thursday is a holiday, and obviously we've got Friday, Boxing Day in the UK, which is 71%. Bullish. That is a lot of bullishness. It really is. I'm very doubtful about seeing any significant downside next week. We might see it the week afterwards. We've got neutral leaning days on Monday and Tuesday the following week, and we've got a strongly bearish leaning day on Wednesday. But I am very doubtful about seeing much in the way of downside next week. So if we are going to see any downside, then I'm thinking the most likely period to see that would be this morning. Right, we saw a decent rally off the low yesterday. I have to say, I was talking to Doug about the rather suspect way they had calculated the inflation figures, but I'm not seeing that. I think that might be a bigger issue in January, but I don't think that's going to be a big issue today. At the moment, we're deciding whether or not we are going to go up directly or whether we're going to see a retest of yesterday's lows. Keeping an open mind on that, you'll notice a series of lower highs here on ES and on NQ, and we're seeing the same thing on crypto, on RTY, and we've got a lower high, obviously, on YM, and we've also, although we've come back and retested the low here, which is interesting on YM, and we've got a double bottom here, which is a nice double bottom that could take us back up into those highs. The most interesting ones, though, probably are DAX and STX. This is an IHS which is broken up with a target at a retest of the December high, and this is another IHS which is broken up with a target at a retest of the December high. And this is the way I'm thinking we may go today. We may well just break up and head off to these targets, and go into the bullish holiday week next week, when it's going to take quite a bit to overcome that bullishness. I think because lots of people are away. It's going to be a relatively light tape. That always favors the bulls. So unless the government does something unusually crazy, I think it's going to be hard for that not to lean to the upside. And I've also got some targets which I'm still expecting to see above. I'm expecting to see a retest of the all-time high on SPX and on the Qs and on DAX. And we are not owed. That would suggest that we would have to do that. But generally speaking, after Head and Shoulders, which broke down and failed in the way that these do, this is something we would generally see. So in the absence of evidence to the contrary, it's something I'm looking for. All right, let's have a quick look at SPX. We have obviously seen two closes back under the daily middle band. I've got that at 67.95, and we closed 20 handles below it today. If we're going to see a break up today, we will reject back over it. And that's not a first day rejection, it's a second day rejection, but still nonetheless. In the hourly chart, no positive divergence. On the 15-minute chart, any positive divergence there either, really. It's looking at the Qs. The Qs, the daily middle band is at 614. We closed yesterday at 609. We've also got resistance at the 50 DMA at 613 above as well, and we've seen 4 closes below the daily middle band here. But I'm leaning towards seeing a break up today or at latest on Monday. But usually today. I think if we're going to see a retest of the low, ideally that would be intraday today. Hourly chart, no positive divergence. 15-minute chart, no positive divergence either. On Dia, we never made it down to the daily middle band, and I'm not seeing any reason to suspect that we will. In terms of the hourly chart, never even got to the opportunity where we could set up an hourly buy signal, and nothing on the 15-minute. This looks like a flag. And a pretty decent looking double bottom here, so I like that. All right, looking at IWM. IWM, we've got, we had a test of the daily middle band, and that's held. and that is a very obvious support level, and it's holding. On the hourly chart, no positive divergence, and on the 15-minute chart, nothing either. But again, it looks kind of like a bull flag here, and I think chances are that's because it is a bull flag. Looking at DAX, DAX almost made it back up down into the daily middle band retest, and not actually declined a great deal, testing the 50 DMA, obvious area to go back up. Nikkei, this almost made it to the daily lower band, and I'm thinking this is likely a bull flag or a triangle forming. Could go a bit lower within the flag, but equally could break up. And here, that flag would suggest that we're probably going to see a retest of this high here at 52.6, and I would be leaning towards seeing that. All right, now on the slightly dubious inflation numbers yesterday, we saw a breakup here on DX, and this is the inflection point that I've been talking about. And that's not necessarily broken up from that definitively here, but I am wondering, obviously, whether we might break up back up into a retest of this high, and we may be seeing the start of that here. On ZB, we saw a breakup over the wedge resistance. Not sure how much to read into this, but if those inflation numbers were genuine, I'd be wondering about a significant reversal on bonds here, but I don't think they are, and I think there's a lot of awareness that they're not really that credible, and that, you know, in effect, the Bureau of Statistics has been taken over and is delivering more of a political agenda now, in which case the numbers can't be trusted. If that perception becomes widespread, then that's going to send bonds down. And down pretty hard, because Trump's already looking forward to the moment where he has taken over the Fed and can cut and force Fed to cut interest rates down 1%, and that's not going to be inspiring a lot of confidence. So I'm still thinking we may well be about to see that decline on bonds, and frankly, all the more so because that has happened. Right, on the double bottom on TN, we have broken up, and we've now made that full target. This looks like a bear flag forming at the moment, and I'm thinking it might well be. Looking at CL. CL, we're seeing a bit of a rally here. Now, we saw a retest of this low here, finally. But looking at HO, as the IHS on HO failed, I'm looking for a retest of this low here, and probably a bit lower as well. I think the target on HO would be in about the 1.93 area. So this could potentially take CL down to the 50 level. I'm rolling all these into February over the weekend, of course. On RBOB, looks like a bear flag forming. NG, we've seen a very classic setup here, which is the rally, the retest of the low, and this looks an awful lot like a double bottom. And I think this may well break up and give us a backtest of the 4.6 area, possibly a backtest of the monthly pivot at 4.691. So I'm really liking this double bottom setup. That is nice. Looking at GC. GC has retested this high, and the question is, can it get over this trend line here, or are we going to need to see a retracement first? We do have a potential little level top set up here, and we haven't broken over this trend line, which I drew in, which is a nice resistance trend line. We will see how that goes. SI, again, it's not holding a trend line here. We had a slight break here, which I've redrawn for. We had a slight break here. This looks like a little bull flag forming. Expect to see another retest of this high. This might be running out of steam short term. Palladium, little level top here, but boy, oh boy, this has been a nice run, and I think there may be a lot more coming, but not necessarily until after a retracement. Possible topping action here on Palladium short term. 60-minute sell signals fixed on both Palladium and Platinum. On HG, we finally had this double top fail with a retest of the prior high, and we've got a potential double top set up here. On EURUSD, I'm watching this because this is the mirror image, distorted mirror image of the pattern we've got on DX, but this one hasn't broken down yet, so I'm waiting to see whether it does. We could see, I wouldn't be surprised to see DX break up fairly solidly from here. I'd be more surprised to see bonds do that. GBP USD, we had a little double top breakdown here. It looks like that is failing. So I'm not really expecting anything from that. USD JPY, we never made it down to my possible flag spot, which was a damn shame because that was a nice looking setup. This is broken up, and I'm expecting to see a retest of this high fairly shortly. USD CAD, possible bottoming action here. Maybe an IHS. Australian dollar. Possible topping action here. NZ, we've got a nice looking head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 56.80 area. Looking at KC, going a little lower, 60-minute buy signal fixed, not really responding to that so far. This is a bigger picture double tops trend line here, so I'm watching that. Looking at SB, we're seeing a bit of a rally here, not really a lot to add on that. This still looks overall like a bear flag forming, and we may well see another higher high here, in which case I'd expect this double bottom target in the 15.43 area to be here. CC, we've got a very nice looking little short-term double bottom here, which would be setting up a retest of this high. That looks nice, and I think that may well deliver. CT, we retested this low as expected, and I'm thinking this may well be an overall double bottom. Not really done a lot since. Lumber, we have a little double bottom here, which is broken up with a target in the 583 area. In the absence of evidence to the contrary, I'm still expecting that target to be reached. On ZW, we have gone a little lower. 60-minute buy signal is fixed. Corn, we've got a 60-minute sell signal has fixed. Sorry. I noted that yesterday. Sorry, noted that earlier, but forgot to update everything, so that has fixed, and thinking we might see some more retracement here on soy, trickling down. No current divergence really. We will see how that goes. ZL, we've got retest to the low, would set up a nice looking little level bottom. We haven't quite seen that yet. Live cattle, we had a sell signal. It's reached the possible near miss target. This looks like a bullish consolidation. On lean hogs, again, looks like bullish consolidation here. In this case, a triangle, setting up a retest of this short-term high, which isn't that far above. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. All right, no questions. I'm keeping an open mind as to direction today, but overall, a lean has to be bullish over the next week. It might be that it goes down anyway, but the historical lean absolutely has to be bullish. We've got bullish leaning days every day now between now and into the end of next week. So I'm not expecting to see much else in the short term. We've got a inflection point where we could still retest the low before we go up. But I think the odds of today closing green are pretty good. And then odds of every day next week closing green are also pretty good. It's a perfect opportunity to sort out some unfinished business to the upside, and I'm expecting that to happen. We might see a weak morning before that happens, but it is likely that we're going up. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys again on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Cheers.